Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maida. This week's set, it's going to be a press-on set. I've done press-on sets in the past and I've actually have grown to really appreciate press-ons because of how much easier it is to apply the art on the press-ons. Obviously, when you are working on yourself, you're only using your one good hand, and then if you're brave enough to do your other hand with your non-dominant hand, it's this whole thing, right? With press-ons, the cool thing about them is that you can put them on afterward, once you're done. Anywho, I was scrolling through Pinterest as I do, and I have been seeing the Valfre girl pretty much for years, and I love her. The artist is Ilse Valfre. She is amazing. I believe she started out just having a blog, and she kept sharing her drawings, and then as she got more followers and more people started to get into her work, she eventually turned it into a clothing line, which is so dope if you ask me. I love her work. I love the style. And one of the drawings that I kept seeing over and over again on my Instagram feed, not Instagram, I keep saying Instagram in my Pinterest feed, is this little devil girl that I think is super cute. And because of that, I just decided, why don't we do a press-on set inspired by this girly? So that's what I'm going to be doing. I already have like a palette in mind. I have my sketch already drawn out. I actually worked on it last night. I'm happy with it. I think I'm ready to move forward. Let's get to the press-ons. All right, so I'm going to start by picking out some cover tips. I'm using these from Unagella. These are some long square tips. These are probably my favorite affordable cover tips. And I'm just gonna pick out, I'm gonna actually show you how I prep the cover tips. Gonna first of all make sure that I have the right size. These are supposed to fit from sidewall to sidewall. We got that down. I'm just gonna adhere it here to my little cake stand. Y'all, I actually made these cake stands myself. Aren't these so cute? I spent an embarrassingly long amount of time doing these. But they're so much better for those of us who like to work on practice nails and such. They're just a lot more comfortable to hold on to instead of like doing this all the time, because this hand position would freaking kill me by the end of the day, holding on to the nail stand for hours on end. Whereas with this guy, I like to I still hold on to it because the magnet is quite small. It's pretty much the same thing as what is within the nail stand. Anyways, I'm going to put on some gloves just because I tend to get a bit of gel on my fingers usually. Obviously, I'm not trying to touch uncured gel with my hands. In order to prep these, I can either etch them chemically or I can buff them. My preference lately is buffing. So I'm just going to buff these really quick. I do have my sizes picked out here. So the reason as to why you want to buff these and not apply gel right on top of the shiny surface is because then your gel polish is a lot more likely to lift or chip. So just a nice little buffing should suffice just to get the shine off the cover tip. And then I like to go in with my other file and then just file that little bump at the tip of the cover tip. All right, and then that is what we have so far. Put her back on the stand. I don't usually buff the cover tip while on the stand because I don't want my stands to get super dirty and like dusty. Next, I take a lint-free wipe and I just go over the top just to get any of the dust that might be really stuck on there. And that's pretty much what I do to prep them. I'm going to do that to the rest of the cover tips, and then I'll be right back. All right, so now that I have all of my cover tips, or my press-ons rather, all buffed and prepped and ready to go, I'm going to apply a really thin coat of base coat. This just ensures that everything goes on smoothly. I like for my press-ons to be as neat and as even as I possibly can make them. I am just gonna use this regular base coat. This is one that I have from Savvyland. As you can see, I have yet to perfect the nail stand situation because they still kind of dance around a little bit, but they're still better to hold. I'm just gonna cure that and then apply to just gonna go over those lines again just to really deepen that black. Also, a big tip that I have for whenever you're using your liner brushes, just make sure you're wiping them occasionally and not just letting them sit there with the gel, because you don't want them to lose their preciseness. And you also don't want to pull at the hairs too much. That also really damages your brushes, kind of spreads out your brush too much. So just by having a lint-free wipe with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just gently taking off the excess gel, that will do wonders for your brushes. Okay, so now I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this mirror gel, and anytime that I'm using this, or anytime that I'm using a potted paint, I like to give it a nice stir, because many times the pigment will kind of just like settle, and you want to make sure that everything is nicely mixed so that you can get the best pigmentation. All right, so I'm gonna dip my brush into here, and you see this tiny bit that I have on the tip of the brush. I'm going to pull it as well so that it's not super concentrated at the very tip. I want even distribution. Next, I'm basically going to go over the black with the silver. I'm trying to make this as thin of a line as I can possibly make, because I still want some of that black peeking through. You see? So just like that. And then same for these sides. And I'm gonna actually follow the technique that Rebecca Paints Nails, Rebecca Ramsdale, has on her channel. And I'm going to try and not touch the silver lines into each other, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. It made sense when she was saying it. Also, if you need to cure like little bits at a time, go ahead and do that. I know that for me, I tend to mess up a lot. So what helps me is just painting a little bit at a time and then curing and then moving forward to the next part of whatever it is that I'm painting, because as I said, I do mess up quite a bit. There we go. And see, it's not the worst thing in the world if it's a little wobbly. All right, so I put my nail stand back on my little cake because it does help balance. Boom, there we go. I'm gonna cure that. Also, another tip that I have when cleaning your brushes, you never want to like press your brush into your dapping dish too hard. You don't want to bend your brush. You just want to lightly take off whatever gel is in there. You can do it by pulling your brush back and forth like this or side to side, but never like pressing it down. This is one that I used to do that too, and you can see how damaged it is because I used to do this to it all the time, and that is not something that you want to do with your brushes. If you want to keep your brushes in good condition, you always want to try to remove the gel by just, again, wiggling it a little bit side to side, taking off whatever excess gel with a lint-free wipe. All right, so I do have a little tail that I want to add. So I'm kind of debating on whether I want to do it in black or in silver. I think I'm going to do it in black and maybe add like a silver element to it. I'm definitely using my table as well to kind of stabilize everything here. I'm going to cure it. And because it's a small amount of gel, I am flash curing it. But if it was a little bit thicker, I think I would go ahead and just pop it into the bigger lamp to make sure everything is nicely cured. Again, I'm just taking off the excess, dipping it into my dapping dish to remove whatever is in between the brush hairs. I'm actually going to grab a dotting tool. Hopefully you can see the 2 tiny dots that I put on here. And then with my brush, I'm just going to pull them out to make the heart shape like that. And that's a little heart. How cute. All right, so I do want to add the little devil horns. However, I have an idea. I have these spikies. I kind of feel like these would make such cute little devil horns, don't you think? All right, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the Gin Bee Crazy Top. And before applying the spikes, I'm actually going to apply it to the heart. I want it to be extra shiny. Just gonna hold it upside down really quick to help level everything out. Yay! See, how did I get silver paint right here and right here? The world may never know, but I'm glad I'm wearing my gloves. All right, dope. Look at how cute. All right, so I'm just going to apply another coat of matte top. And this is just so that the silver from the barbed wire is also matte. Guys, look at how freaking cute this looks. This is freaking adorable. Are you kidding me? Oh, I can't wait to wear these. Okay, so next design. Next design, I'm not gonna lie. I'm avoiding painting the girl because I'm just so nervous. I'm nervous, but you know what? I'm inching my way toward her. I got this, but we're not gonna do her yet. The next design is actually going to be the one with the flames. And here's the thing. I suck at flames, dude. I did a short not too long ago. I show that I've been practicing my flames, but dude, they have not gotten any better. FYI. But it's okay. The whole point of this is us having fun, enjoying ourselves, making something cute for ourselves, you know. So yeah, flames, we're gonna do them. For the background, I do want this to be a red background. So I'm just gonna use this one from V Beauty Pure. This is 005, and it's like a gorgeous cherry red, more like a red orange if you ask me, but yeah, she's cute. So this nail is actually going to be the ring finger nail if I'm not mistaken, or is it the middle finger? I don't know. My middle and my ring finger are both the same size, so I could switch either way. I'm actually going to give it a good cure for 60 seconds just because the color is pretty opaque, but just for good measure. Oof, I'm nervous, guys. I'm nervous about this girl. Oh, my hands are so sweaty. All right, I'm also adding a matte top coat to this guy. You really want to make sure you get these sides because they tend to kind of get neglected, at least on my part. I'm really just saying it just for myself because I forget. and give her a full cure. All right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more. And by the way, I'm using gel polish for this detail work. I'm not using this guy mainly because it's a lot thicker than my gel polish. This is just one that I got from, I think, AliExpress or something. I am working to save up a little bit to get some decent potted paints or potted gels. But for the meantime, this is the only thing that I have. And this is just kind of hard to cure. And because it's a lot thicker than what I'm used to in comparison to the gel polish that I'm using, I don't prefer it. It's a little bit much. And here, I can show you. See, it's a lot like thicker. And sure, it gets the job done, but I'll just show you. Psych, I like it. Dude, what the heckers? Not me straight up lying to you guys about how I don't like these. I don't know, maybe it's because before I've used them on a shiny top surface or on a shiny top instead of a matte. These work fine. Okay, I just don't like the line that I made, so I'm gonna redo that right quick. Oh my gosh, I'm such a goober. I'm also working on positive affirmations for myself, so I'm trying to limit the self-deprecating language in my life because I'm trying to love myself a little bit more, you know? I like this. I'm such a silly. There's like tons of different ways to draw or to paint flames. So FYI, if you see me doing something different from what you do or from what you've seen others do, it's totally okay. It's gonna be fine. I can't tell whether or not I like this shape, you know? Maybe I need to like thicken things up a little bit. I kind of wish I would have done these flames a little bit higher up. Can I fix that somehow? Or am I just going to have to erase the whole thing and start fresh? Let me see if I can. I kind of am doing it. Alright, fudge it. I'm going to cure it before I change my mind. Alright, so here is how I did it with gel polish. So it can be done. It just will take, well, no, it didn't take me much longer than what I just did here. You know what did happen though? I did have to go over the gel polish twice because it's not as opaque as the paint pot. So that is the only difference. But yeah, it's not bad. Alright, so it is a little annoying that they're not entirely centered, but like I have to move on or else I'm going to be here all day. Okay, so I will move on. Don't worry. So the Valfre girl, let's do her. So I've seen Ball Pit do kind of like an outline first. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's been a few hours. I just popped this piece of gum in my mouth. I should take it out, but I feel like it's going to be a waste. I promise you won't be able to tell.
So here's what I've done. Everything but the little devil girl, because I'm still so scared. You know when they say, like, whenever you're testing or something, do the easiest questions first and then move on to the harder ones? That's what I'm doing here. So, okay, I kind of just wanted to check in because I made a couple of changes off camera, those being to the flame nail. So I basically added the yellow outline to these. I think it was a supreme idea. However, I don't like how they look matte, and instead I want the actual flames to be glossy and the background to be matte. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna add some crazy top, and I'm gonna keep using my super thin liner brush. Yeah, you see, that just looks so much better. Hey guys, so by the time I was ready to start working on the Valfre girl, by the way, I think her name is Lucy. By the time I was ready to paint her, my camera battery was completely drained, so the following shots are filmed with my phone. So I started out with an outline of Lucy. I did follow the ball pit method, which is to use a lighter brown gel. I didn't have one available to me, but I did just mix a tiny dot of brown gel polish into clear base coat, or I don't know, it might have been a little bit of the crazy top. Either one should work. The outline doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you're able to see where each part of the drawing or painting will go. So I drew the outline, I cured it, and then I was ready to apply the red gel, which is the 005 from V Beauty Pure, same thing that I've been using this whole time. And I left a little gap in between the lines just so that I could keep track of each shape. And then once I felt ready, I started to close the gaps with a little more red gel until I finally cured it, and then added some black outlines and other details to it. I did have to do a couple of layers because I guess it's mainly because of the brush, the liner brush that I was using. Of course, it's not going to pick up as much product, so the red wasn't as saturated as I wanted it to be, so I did have to go over it a couple times. That's totally fine. I swear this brush is amazing though. It's super thin and it does allow me to make dainty lines as long as it's not completely saturated with gel. But yeah, as you can see, I mean, look at those bangs, girl. And then I am flash curing in between just so that if I do mess up, I can easily wipe it off. But But once I'm done applying all of the gel or all of the outlines, I do end up giving it a full cure. And then I applied the top coat, the shiny top coat, because I did want her to be shiny. But in order to make my life a little bit easier, I just applied the shiny top all over the nail and then went over the background with a matte top coat because I did want to still retain that matte background. You'll see it eventually. But right now I'm basically just going over the girl. I'm doing her little star freckles and I'm using a pen, just a regular fine tip pen, to draw those little stars on. They're not super definable. I am still trying to figure out what the best way to apply those itty bitty tiny stars. Maybe in the future, if I ever paint Lucy on my nails again, I think I might try adding tiny star glitters because there are some. I don't have them, but I have seen some that are super tiny stars, and I'd love to just use that, make my life a little bit easier. Anyway, that is it for this video. Check them out. I love them so much. So I didn't paint Lucy twice. I was pretty much like my back was killing me by the end of this set. So I basically just replicated the tattoo that Lucy has on her arm on my nail instead of just painting her. So it just says Valfre and a heart with an arrow going through it, which is super cute. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button if you like this video. Let me know what other designs you would be interested in seeing from me. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.